Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another day of Overwatch League Action APAC Edition. I am Achilles, kicking things off yet again alongside Avril, and we are here moving into the second day of the second week of the tournament thus far. We have the kickoff clash on the horizon. These teams are vying for a top spot in that tournament. We're still a ways away from determining who is top dog, who's going to be missing out. Kicking things off, we're going to have the Chengdu Hunters versus the Philly Fusion, two teams that did suffer losses yesterday. Now one of them will be walking away victorious.
And, it's really shaking things up in the Eastern Division here as well, because what you have is the Seoul win yesterday means every single team has won a game, every single team has lost a game. Seoul currently lead the standings 3-1. They've also played an extra game compared to 5 other teams. I think only Hangzhou and Seoul have actually played 4 games at this stage, but they're looking like the top teams at the moment in terms of their scoreline. Chengdu lagging behind a little bit, 1-2. They've gone negative now. They were 1-1, now they're 1-2. Fusion started things out strong at 2-0, but they're now 2-1. So things are still okay there, but need a few more wins here, I think, to secure the top positions.
Yeah, I mean, Fusion having a bit of a rough go there versus the Seoul Dynasty. We got the Spaghetti Bowl. We get really excited, but Dynasty just kind of showed up, and Fusion didn't look like their previous selves from those matches that we have seen thus far. Very much struggled versus the veteran lineup on the side of the Seoul Dynasty. We'll see how they fare today versus the Chengdu Hunters, who are also going to be looking to get a win. They've got that first one under their belts versus, I believe it's the Guangzhou Charge. Looked very solid in that matchup, but they haven't quite hit those same peaks. They haven't looked as clean since that first opening series.
Yeah, I think Guangzhou Charge had been struggling, right, but then we also did see in yesterday's game they've made a bounce back as well, so things are getting really competitive here in APAC. Hunters, they ran Gaga all throughout yesterday to, I would say, reasonable success. It seemed like Hunters had kind of made their mark in terms of, okay, this is the tank player we want to rely on, but Daisy has now rejoined the roster for at least our opening map. So the Hunter squad are still kind of trying to figure things out. I wonder what Daisy's going to be playing, because I assume it will have to be the Zarya for a map like, I think we have Colosseo first, but Gaga's also been playing the Zarya, so things are a little confusing on the Hunters front as far as how they're handling this roster and who's starting.
Yeah, it seems to be a bit back and forth, some internal conversations happening there with the team you would have to expect about, do we just run Gaga and have him play everything? Is there still going to be these valuable times where Daisy can come in? Because, again, in that first series, it looked like he came out, really held his own, got bullied a little bit by Choice A1, but for the most part was able to really hold his ground. Then we just didn't get to see him at all yesterday. He is starting, though, and here is the starting 5 on the side of the Philly Fusion. Nothing too shocking here. So we got Carpe, Zest in the DPS lineup. Belosria will be starting in the tank position, and then we've got Fixa and Aimdot.
Carpe usually starting out in the first map as well. We've had a few, I think mix-ups here as we've seen Fury a decent amount now. Belosria has played a decent amount as well, usually coming through for that Winston. It does say that these teams have kind of gone for not necessarily opposite strategies, but certainly in the tank positions, going in different directions. Hunters looking for more of a Zarya, Fusion looking for more of that Winston, and, it's going to be Carpe, Soldier, Zest, Genji, right? Best of what you expect of the Fusion for this.
Yeah, and I'm looking for Leave. I don't know what happened to his camera. Looks like he might have knocked it off the top of his monitor.
It's in the name, Seth. It's in the name.
Yeah.
He left.
Yeah, he has. He's left. He's left. Also, I thought that there was something wrong with Daisy's camera for a second, but he actually is just using a desktop microphone rather than a headset mic, so a little bit of a different strat there from him.
Okay.
Changing it up. I guess, doesn't like to have the mic sat right close to his face. He wants it directly in front of him. Maybe he was feeling like his shot calls weren't coming through clean enough, so he said, get me a desktop microphone instead, so I can speak directly into this thing.
You gotta do the thing that Fitz does on Sol, where he wears his headset around his neck with his microphone pointing up into his face, and then he wears earbuds as well for the ultimate gamer look. I appreciate it. I respect it.
Well, let's see what happens here. You see, last time these guys squared off, Week 13, 2021. It's a 3-2 victory for the side of Chengdu. So Fusion going to be wanting to get a bit of revenge. We'll see if we can get to that same 3-2 scoreline, though, at the very end. Kicking things off on Colosseo. See Jinmu going to be coming out the gates with that Reaper Zest back onto the Genji.
I think that's a stable composition. We have seen Jinmu play a lot of Genji, but the sort of Reaper Soldier Zarya combination on this particular patch, which is the opening day beta patch, is the favored of the NA teams as well. So this has been producing some very solid results there. Jinmu's been pretty hot and cold as a player so far this season, so maybe the Reaper will give him a bit more, again, consistency in that role.
Well, he's trying to TP forward, get right into the thick of the roster here on the side of the Fusion, but immediately has to exit as the Focus Fire comes down. Does manage to leap with his life intact. Huge damage out though as Zesko's diving in, manages to get that execution. Jinmu taken out, now the bot gonna start moving forward here for the side of the Fusion. As they look to just clear out this point a little bit more. Bellisria going low, tries to leap in, tries to get that stomp damage through. Can't make it happen. Now Nisha finds that kill. Carpe's gone, Zest eliminated. It's just the supports left alive on the side of the Fusion. They do not last very long. Just like that, off the back of one pick. Fusion end up dropping the spaghetti, it goes right on the floor. And the bot's now going to start moving for the Chengdu Hunters, who will happily take the bot.
I mean, it's not even Hell's Kitchen recording day. That was yesterday. We had Red Kitchen versus Blue Kitchen. Now we're, I don't know what we're doing. We're closing the restaurant for today. But, Fusion keeping the doors open. Spaghetti still boiling in the background. That was a 5v4, like you said. Brilliant anti-nade coming through from Monk as well to really help things out. And Fusion, I mean, they had the lead, drop it very quickly, but what they will have is, their first Nano online. So will Chengdu Hunters. It'll be Nano Visor versus, at this point, just a dry Nano. Should be barely staying alive.
Bubble, but it's not enough. Yeah, needed to get some Focus Fire healing there. Doesn't receive it. Nano now going to go out onto Zest just to try to farm up for this blade, and he's getting it very rapidly. Spamming these right clicks right into Dicey, who has nanoed himself, narrowly staying alive because of it. Sound Barrier now going to be pulled. The Sleep Dart connects onto the Zarya, though. Dicey out of the fight for the time being, but he cannot use that Sound Barrier to get up on top of the Fusion. Cannot build up for that grab. Now he's going to fall. Carpe popped Attack Visor. Got the kill on to leave. A cleanup Helix Rocket there for Monk. And now they will continue to push and look to equalize.
I mean, Philly won that with a worse ultimate bank than Chengdu did, and there was no Visor from Leave at all that fight. Nano got popped into Daisy, probably to keep him alive, but at that stage you like a lot of offensive power. Daisy gets slept anyway. Leave just doesn't use Nano at all. I think a Nano Visor would have pushed back Fusion for sure, but didn't end up happening. Now Fusion on their push-up. Take the lead now, barely.
Okay, Blade and the Primal coming through. Zest immediately going to be antied out. Needs to get some space, but they cannot stop Dicey from getting on top of the Genji. That being said, Bellisria still doing wonders. Comes up with 2 kills for his squad as they very firmly take the lead now, about to be up 20 meters. Bot making its way through the underpass, and we'll start wrapping around towards the final ramp.
I mean, that's a huge fight win because now you have a situation where they can cap Fusion, very close to doing so. Chengdu arrived just in time, and this is where the ultimates actually have to start getting used. Again, we're waiting for that Visor from Leave. Daisy holding on towards this grab as well. Not looking for a huge grab, just something that can get them across the line. Fixer will have the beat to counter this one. For Philadelphia Fusion, reset. They actually don't want to push any further. Straight back to neutral territory. Philly are going to have to win like another 2 fights to actually get there because now we've got all the way back to mid.
Colosseo just going to be pillar hugging for now. Attack Visor going to be popped. You can see Zest making his exit, dashing over to the side. Sound Barrier comes in, catches everyone other than God for the side of the Fusion. Grab, however, is absolutely massive. They get the anti on top of him. And that is the cleanup onto 3. God slept dead. And that will be another team kill. Feels like deja vu, pretty much the same exact spot the last one occurred in. And the bot's going to be moving forward for the Chengdu Hunters. They should be able to get it pretty darn close to where the Fusion landed.
And what's great about that play from Chengdu is that they had 2 threats, right? They had the grab and the Visor, and the beat only counted one of them. So Leave walks in first, gets Fixer to drop that Sound Barrier, then Daisy collects with a huge grab. Everyone just walked into him as well. Jinmu now looking for the Death Lawson. No kills just yet.
He is. They push him away. Nano now going to be thrown down onto him. Carpe does get picked off, finished there by Nisha. Bellisria for the troubles as well. So while the Death Blossom might not be the most flashy one, doesn't fill the kill feed, it still causes a hell of a distraction and allows them to pick off a couple members. Bot moving forward as they get ready to take the lead and potentially find the second checkpoint. Fusion still a ways away from contesting.
There it is. That's the cap now going over. Or just about anyway. Certainly Chengdu have taken the lead. That was the Nano used on Carpe, by the way, to help him survive against the Death Blossom of Jinmu. Nisha with that Sound Barrier available. Zest still looking for entry, and that should be countered by the Sound Barrier when Nisha drops that one down. Fusion's still waiting, though.
They've got nothing else to try to beat this out with, and somehow Leave just barely manages to escape.
Oh, what's going on?
Tagging Zest over and over again. Kills him off. Now Carpe's out of the fight. The DPS broken down here on the side of the Fusion as the rest of the Chengdu Hunters just charge up in front of the spawn rooms. Some nice little staggers there as Fix is the only one who manages to slink away.
This is going to be 90 plus. We're nearing 100 meters here with less than 3 minutes. I mean, Hunters might have just unlocked the win condition, and they still have ultimates. Fusion played that so slowly. What were they doing? They were like looking for damage on Lee, but no one was really committing. Hunters were free pushing the whole time, and then Monk just kills Zest and Philly loses the fight.
Still, so many ults built up here as well. Leave a sliver of HP. The sound barrier does get forced. Zest now has a bit of a window of opportunity to try to use this blade, but Leave is charging forward. Nano Visor out at the ready. Flips 180, takes down Carpe. Does eventually fall as Zest finds the kill. He's now going to pull the blade. Bubble's going to be used. Very high energy here onto Daisy, and they manage to focus fire him down. The blade gets absolutely no value. Fixa was slept. Monk gets the finish. Velos Rhea taken out of the fight. Aim God just sitting here like, I've got a nano boost, but I've got nothing to use it on.
Yeah, well, he died first. Aimgod died at 97. Leave took him down, and now they've all respawned, but the blade is gone, so this is just going to have to be a nano boost onto Bellasria or somebody. Carpe help him. He needs this visor right now, and there's still a grab. Fixer desperately looking for that sound barrier to counter.
Just trying to keep him alive. Carpe falls low. That's going to force the nano early. He does manage to get in on top of Monk. Now grab out from Daisy. Looking to lock a couple people in. The support's going to be cleaned up. Jinmu taken down. Looks like the cleanup will be there for the side of the Fusion. They don't lose anybody crucially in the fight, but now they've got a minute and a half remaining to try to ship this bot all the way across to the opposite side of the map. They need to double their current score if they want to tie this up and get the lead.
My goodness, I mean, it's just, they need to push unimpeded here. I mean, we're starting to open the doors now for the capability of teams to maybe get an OT win on a map, on any of the push maps, right? But 117 a kilos, it's just so far. They need to win like 3 or 4 fights in a row.
It's quite monstrous. They're looking for it now. Sound barrier's there. Bio out onto 3 on the side of Fusion. Velos taking a nap. Looks like he will get eliminated there by Leave. Carpe tucking back around the corner of the bot for now. Going to be held in place. They're looking for Monk. He throws the bio down onto himself to get that boosted healing. But the Helix rockets from Carpe will find the finishing shot. That being said, the bot now going to be controlled, pushed in the opposite direction by Jinmu. We've got 45 seconds remaining here. Fusion, they need to collect back up as a 5-man unit, but they're on the opposite side of the map, and Lee catches Carpe trying to make his way out.
Too many dead. I mean, you have to wait for Zest to come back from spawn. Now you have to wait for Carpe, who, by the way, is holding your ultimate. Chengdu are pushing the bot backwards, and now that's distance. The Fusion once again have to take control of once they win a fight. So we've gone back to square one, and it's about to be the OT. So once the OT kicks off, the spawns become really scuffed. That's going to be a bad look for Fusion, even if they do win this fight, and they desperately need to win this fight.
Yep, Anti goes out on 2. Nisha going to be cut down. Zest just dashing all the way through. Manages to help get these eliminations. Finishes off Leave here at the very end. As it is a team kill. Luckily the bot didn't go quite as far this time. They will get it back into pushing position here relatively soon, but all 5 members of the Chengdu Hunters have now respawned. 4 ults versus nearly 4. There's Monk and Nisha are very close to having those.
Bellasria going in deep. I mean, this is going to have to be ultimate territory almost immediately. Potentially looking for Primal. The longer that Fusion actually hold these ultimates, the better, but they've got a nano visor now.
Yep, they're going to go for it because they have to wait out the bot. The bot is currently waiting. He's taking this little break as he gets ready to continue pushing. Counter visor comes in from Lee. Crucially, the sleep dart connects from Aim God, shuts it down, gets rid of the nano as well. Now, though, they turn their sights back onto the bot. The Dragon Blade's being pulled. Jinmu pops the Death Blossom. Aim God, Velos going down. Fixa, no HP. He is dead. And it's just Carpe left standing. He is nowhere nearby. Chengdu Hunters, I don't know what it is about this map, but they pick up another win on Colosseo in dominant fashion. Philly Fusion trying to make it work at the very end, but could not go far enough.
And I have to go back to that fight many moons ago now, up the ramp of the Fusion spawn, right? The one where they kind of looked a little bit lost, chasing Leave around the map and didn't quite, initiate when it was kind of the onus was on them to make the first move, right? You know, they're the white team on the chessboard. They have to kind of go first, and if they fail to do that, Monk or somebody on the Chengdu Hunter side just gets these opening picks, and from there, the snowball was far too much. You cannot allow the other team to go beyond, I would say, like 70 meters. If you want a reasonable chance at a comeback, 117, you can forget about it because you're at a stage with Philadelphia, 58 versus 117 in the OT. By the time they touch their own marker, their own distance marker, they have to push double that distance in OT to even have a chance. So it's more than a mountain to climb. We're going up Everest with no climbing gear on that one.
Well, Chengdu Hunters set themselves up for success and set up the Fusion to fail. That they do. First map of Colosseo goes over to the Chengdu Hunters. Now, coming up, we're going to have Escort. We'll see if the Fusion can fare a bit better on Watchpoint. Gibraltar tie it up 1-1. We'll find out when we come back from the break. And we are back. One map out of the way. Colosseo going the way of the Chengdu Hunters in very dominant fashion. A absolutely massive push set up for themselves. Fusion cannot match it in overtime. Now they find themselves down a map here at the start of the series. We've got Watchpoint Gibraltar coming up next. Let's see if they can tie this up, or if the Chengdu Hunters will be very much back in form and see if they can take a 2-0 lead here, Avril.
And, you know, it did look good. It looked very good what we saw on our opening map of Colosseo. Daisy on that Zarya was actually performing quite well. I do have to question a little bit, you know, is it the right call for Balestria to be run there on the Winston on a map that I think a lot of teams have now very much focused on towards Zarya? That question, you know, will have to be answered another day as we head over to Watchpoint Gibraltar. Changes coming through as Gaga coming back in over Daisy to play the Winston. Obviously now is a great time to bring out the Winston for Watchpoint, right? And then on the other end, MN3 coming in for Carpe as he usually does. Carpe plays the first map. MN3 plays most of the other maps, especially ones where snipers are important, and MN3 would definitely be sniping. Leave will also be picking up the sniper rifle on the opposite end. We've seen a little bit of a quiet performance out of Leave on that sniper. Yesterday, he got out-dueled by Shy. To be fair, Shy's probably one of the best that we have here. MN3 has had some really good moments, has had some quiet moments. We'll have to see who wins that sniper duel once we get into map.
Yeah, it feels like kind of just based on the eye test that we've had so far, this should be somewhat equal. Equal footing here between Leave and MN3. We'll just have to see who gets the better of the other and, you know, which team can really help enable their Widowmakers on either side. We'll jump into this and see how it goes. Philly not beating Chengdu since the second week of last season. Let's see if they can get in the get another one here in the second week of this season.
They've only played 4 times. Did that all take place last year? Did these two teams ever play each other in previous seasons? I do wonder. Because both Philly and Chengdu were obviously in the same region last year, but I have no idea whether they actually play beyond that. So it could just be like all the results from these two teams actually happened very recently.
Hard to say from recollection. Would have thought that at some point in 2019 they would have met.
I'll look it up in my spare time. But what we do have here, Seth, is, you know, I don't know, do you call this one the Orange Bowl? The orange team wins. That's all I can say. No matter what, I can say that an orange team will definitely win today.
The Orange Chicken Bowl?
Somehow Gaga's already dead.
Yeah. He tried to just dive the high ground. It looks like Fusion very much knew that he likes to try to go for walkway early on. Everybody was gathered up there and they get a full punish. So, a good read there by the Fusion. It's a first step.
So, Philly and Chengdu did actually play each other one time in 2019 Stage 4, but beyond that, the other 3 were all last year. So, they'd only met one time before the most recent season, which is really interesting to say. Monk getting a frag with the Zester, that'll be really putting some pressure on the defense now as Chengdu want to walk forward.
Okay, dive coming in, MN3 getting jumped on, Gaga finding that elimination. A nice little pick off there for him, but we'll trade it out. They get the punish onto the enemy Winston. Cart in the meantime being brought up through the underpass by a Leaf. They'll leave it right there at the top of the ramp and now go back up top to try to find some snipes.
I mean, it's a good, decent amount of progression. Not quite up the ramp, but it's enough so that you can start focusing on server now. You take high ground, you take server from there, then you translate that into free cart push or as whatever kind of cart push you can moving up. But with Leave down, that'll now have to force Chengdu back a little bit unless they want to commit with 4.
Shots flying, MN3 just pumping damage out. So far, just minor skirmishing, but not really resulting in kills as of yet. Leave again, working his way through the underpass. Spots Zest, instantly pops the deflect there to make sure that he keeps himself safe.
Eyes on a target.
Slowing down quite significantly now. We've got 2 minutes left to go. I mean, Ultimate's is only just starting to come online. Balestria has that Primal ready to go. Nano has to be kind of the first port of call here for either team to engage. But, I mean, the Blaze is so far away, so it'll just be dry Blaze other way.
Primal here from Balestria. He's juggling Leave into the corner. He's looking for that elimination. Hasn't managed to finish him off yet. In the meantime, Jinmu, recipient of a nano boost, will manage to get 1, 2, 3. Both supports and Zest now out of the fight. The Dragon Blade has been built up, and that is a very successful ult there out from Monk. Poison Trap thrown down in desperation. MN3 with a nice little body tap onto Jinmu. Can't get him in the head, can't get the finish onto the Genji, and in the meantime, Balestria is left out all by himself. Yep, gets picked off. The cap
Ballesteria
will be coming in.
Well, Ballesteria, primaled in the very first fight. Well, not the first fight, but the one just preceding this one. And forced out, obviously, Philadelphia Fusion speaking of forcing. They're trying to get this fight in. Maybe they can actually win this fight with a triple nano, the triple Bionade rather, landing from Aim God, but the numbers are still just not going the way of Philly in this fight, despite the nano being used.
Yeah, no, it's absolute catastrophe there. I mean, they throw the nano onto Zest to try to recontest, but they can't touch the cart in time. It's far too late, and they end up just giving the ultimate over for free. Now you look at the economy here for the side of the Chengdu Hunters. They've got 4 ready to go. It's absolutely massive.
Personne n'échappe à mon regard.
Oh me, oh my. This is looking like a bit of a catastrophe here, Avril.
Still free pushing. I mean, we're still just moving up. We're trying to look for space from Philly right now. Hunters have all the ultimates. Infrasite's kind of locked up Fusion. They're not willing to push into it. And now, look, they're just stuck in a small room. Zest uses Blade. He's dead.
Yeah, they both use the blades. They both end up dying, but it's still going to be a trade-up for the side of the Chengdu Hunters, who make it a 3-for-1 exchange. Jinmu, the only one dead. Now 4 minutes and 17 seconds remaining as they just steamrolled their way through this hangar. They're on to the final stretch, and the Philly Fusion just cannot find any ground to stand on.
What is it with teams over-respecting Leave's Infrasight? Do they think the Infrasight does damage or something? They're all scared of it. Hangzhou, yesterday, they completely backed out of the second phase when Leave popped Infrasight. Here, Fusion is stuck. They just completely froze it. They were petrified. Couldn't move out. Then they just got collapsed on in the small room. Both the Genjis died with blades. But Philly was still stuck in the bad place while Rally was being popped.
Oh, Jinmu. They're going for the dive. They both get in on top of the supports, and Fixa will fall. Jinmu does end up dying. Somehow Aim God staying alive for a little bit longer, but Gaga eventually just leaps his way into the back, gets that elimination. Now pops the Primal Rage to keep himself alive, and he's just gating MN3 out of the spawn room. He wants to escape. He wants to live, but Gaga says absolutely not. Not on my watch. They get the kills. The cart has just been pushing completely unimpeded this entire time. They finally will stop it for just a moment as Ballesteria tries to play around it. A nice snipe from him in 3 results in Monk hitting the ground. The nano boost now going to be taken out of the equation. Looks for a little bit more as he moves up right into open territory, trying to duke it out against Leave. Jumps up over the top, spots Jinmu for just a moment. Call will come in. Zest will move to contest, and finally they have stopped the cart, but at what cost? And look how far it's gone.
And there's still plenty of time left. I mean, Hunters, they are forcing resources out from the Fusion. They lose the fight in many ways, but at the same time, there's still plenty of opportunities to push forward. Monk had a tiny bit of an alt lead onto Aim God, but both will have the nano available now. MN3 get taken down. That's probably going to be Chengdu's moment to start walking in. Ballesteria instantly primals off that.
There goes Zest as well, now eliminated. There's no DPS to speak of. Leave falling low, 8 HP will get eliminated here by Ballesteria at the end. Now turns his sights over to protecting the rest of his team, the supports that need to survive. That's going to be the nano going out on the Fixa just to make sure that he does go ahead, swing away, get that passive healing rolling around him, as well as build up towards the rally. Looking for a little bit more here as they continue to pursue deep. Gaga falling low, but has the primal to rely on should he need it, and he will pop it as the rally goes out from Nisha as well. Infrasight now up from Leave. MN3 going to be matching. Aim God being juggled way out into Narnia. They isolate him. They get the kill. Fixa now with no extra healing. The rally is not going to be good enough. Gets cut down as Jinmu looks for a little bit more.
Down to Zest.
Blade swipe will find MN3. Leave the only casualty on the side of the Chengdu Hunters. And the cart in the meantime pushes through. Gaga just sat there grinning as he rides himself into victory. A minute and 48 remains here for the Chengdu Hunters as they complete the map.
Insane last whip shot boop there by Nisha as well, just to make sure Zest can't get that second slash, enable the dash, go on a killing spree, and you have to kind of credit the sort of decision making by the Chengdu Hunters there in the last couple of fights, because let me run it back for you in terms of what happens here. Leave gets a headshot kill onto MN3, starts the 5v4 push into the C point for the Philadelphia Fusion, who instantly respond with Primal. They nano as well. I think there might have been a third ultimate in there, if I'm not mistaken. Even the rally was popped, so Philly, credit to them. They want to defend. They're obviously desperate to defend. They can't let the point go, so they're going to spend a lot of ultimates, but they are in a position where they're forced to overspend. Chengdu Hunters knowing, okay, well, Leave's going to get solo primaled here. We've got 3 other ultimates, not going to pop a single one of them. We're happy to lose this fight because we know Fusion are going to overspend, and then the subsequent fight. That's when Hunters have everything to work through. As you called it, Aim God booped into the back line, Jinmu gets rid of Fixa, and there's no more supports. Once the supports are gone, the only way that Philly can bring this one back is Zest has to pop off. He doesn't. Look at that boop again.
Beautiful stuff there. Jinmu especially, who has been somewhat shrouded in doubt as far as, the impact that he's been finding in these losses that we've seen. Immaculate performance so far on the Genji there. Looks like now on the defense, though, will be trying his hand at the Echo once more. Leaf, of course, going to be sticking through with the Widowmaker. As the TP comes down, they jump across.
We'll see if defensive Widowmaker helps Leave out more, although to be fair, Leave has had a much better time today versus MN3. He did versus Shy yesterday. Both of them will exchange shots, losing past each other's heads. And as you said, it's going to be Zarya plus the Echo for the opening defense. Now, this isn't going to help Chengdu a lot on B, but for A, I think it's reasonable. The only issue is that Gaga's going to have to find a good place to drop this grab. Otherwise, he's going to be stuck on Zarya for B, which is not ideal.
It's all the outline there of Zest just crouched behind the cart, trying to inch it forward here, get it to the top of the ramp through the underpass. Has managed to do so successfully thus far. Jinmu pushing the corner. A bold move here from him, given that MN3 is just sitting there with sight lines, but Leave just jump peeks the corner. Manages to tap him in the head. Nice opening kill. Now looks for a little bit more. Zest dashing away just at the right second, but God revealed behind, fix his shield. Gets punished. The sticky bombs will finish off Bellisria. The rest of the team now needs to reset.
And the other thing here is as well that Hunters having control of the high ground, they need that because it's very difficult for Gaga on the Zarya to regain it if they do lose. So Philly, kind of their first step has to be to push Gaga off first, and then the only way that Chengdu Hunters can actually play this point properly is to fight for server. So you need to start removing positions that the Hunters can safely use, and they've taken even more high ground here. Gaga's now on that top left position. He's going to have to back out soon, but Leave is still pumping and plenty of damage that finally he's going to get taken down.
Does get a nice little kill there, but can they do anything off the back of it is the question. They need a bit more. Try to force the positions here of the Chengdu Hunters. Get them off this high ground, shift them around the server to continue bringing the cart forward. But now Bellisria is on that duty, and Jinmu is completely just stuck in the corner. Nothing that he could do. Ends up going down to the pulse bomb there from Zest. And now looks for another target, knows that Leave has returned, finds him, scoped in, dashes across to the opposite side, looking to get the elimination, but loses track of him, actually. So Leave will live to fight another day.
Chengdu is split. Chengdu is split between 3 and 2. Look, 2 people spawn 3 in server, and right now, Philly can collapse.
Oh, yeah, and MN3, he manages to get that shot off. It's like he might have just poked his head into server room, takes down Nisha. Now he's duking it out here on the high ground with this duplicate Ana. Jinmu will get broken out of it. It's melted down to the end. As the healing will sustain MN3. Now looks for Monk. Shots flying. Not quite connecting, but turns his sights to Gaga. Gets the quick little shot there onto Monk's head. And that will finally be the cap coming in for the Philly Fusion. Just shy of 4 minutes remaining now as split spawn onto Jinmu. Means that he ends up getting picked off. Some extra little stagger to help them get this cart moving.
So much of that came down to Zest getting that initial pick-off onto Jinmu, right, who, by the way, didn't have the duplicate at that time. He then transfers that on towards Leave. He doesn't kill Leave, but puts the pressure, forcing Leave into spawn. That's how we got the 2-3 split, because Jinmu's respawning, Leave's pushed back to spawn. The rest of the Hunters still playing A in the safest position, which is server room. And after that point, Philly just have to pick their fight, 5v3 or 5v2. They kind of win both sides. They don't even really have to use ultimates. I mean, look at this, 4 in the bank for Philly Fusion. That's huge for their now campaign progress on towards B.
Yeah, I mean, it's very reminiscent of what the Chengdu Hunters had when they started their stretch moving through the hangar as well. It was also 4 ults. Leave well into the back lines. Rather into the back lines goes Bellisria looking for Leave. Now has him stuck in the corner, in the dropship itself. Minipack not going to save him. Looks like Nisha will manage to pull over. Comes to his aid, but gives his life for the cause. Leave now stuck down here on the low ground with nothing to do. Will just end up dying. Cart can continue rolling forward as Imgod will get a nice little sleep set up for the kill on the Gaga. Get that energy reset, but he will have to run back in and rejoin with the squad.
Payload is really pushed up now. The problem is Gaga dies so late. He needs to grab, then die very quickly to go to Winston. He'll come back on Winston now, but how can they contest this one properly? Nisha can just pop rally, I guess. Leave getting an opening pick on M3 will do them some good. Philly Fusion now down to 1 ultimate, and they're going to give up space for this one. They don't want to fight 5v4 anymore. This is a lot of breathing space for Chengdu to reset.
Yeah, I mean, we're hitting the point now where Fusion, even if they get this capital B and they can make their way to C, even if they were able to just coast the whole way there, it's going to be with less time than the Chengdu Hunters have banked already. MN3 returns, manages to get some revenge, takes out Leave. High priority target, now looks for another one. As Bellisria going to be taking a nap as soon as the Nano goes out onto the Winston. He'll step up, Goes back, looks for another target, receives a bit of damage, continues to contest the card as they try to get in on top of Monk.
Pulse bomb.
They're looking to take him low, they get the bubble, they try to cut off the healing. It manages to come up with the kill, the pulse bomb goes out, Nisha is eliminated. That's the support's gone here for the side of the Chengdu Hunters. Lee still sat up in the back left. Zap taken down, Zest there for the alley-oop kill. They do lose out on fix-up. Low HP here for Belosria, just trying to play forward. They're trying to pump heals into him. He's got to leap away. Only 24 HP remaining. Same can be said for Gaga, who goes lower and lower, but they cannot get the elimination. The supports return. They keep him in the fight. Belosria re-engaging. Now has the Primal Rage available for the extended fight, but they're dwindling right now in the time bank. Just a minute and 10 seconds remaining. Primal goes out. He's looking for the corner juggle here. On to leave. Has to exit yet again, though, as he falls low. Needs to receive some healing. The support's still playing quite far back around the corner.
I mean, Zest is nearly onto a second pulse bomb, by the way, and this is kind of still the same fight. Had 3 kills in that previous one, but Hunters still managed to come back with their respawns, leave onto a soldier now, a little bit more stable for this final point, or rather, what could be the final fight if this time runs out. M3 dives into the back line, just flanking as a Widow, but he gets a kill.
Yep. He's trying to go for the hero play. He does manage to find Monk that yet again takes the nano boost out of the equation, but can they get the cap in the meantime? The cart right now, free rolling. They manage to contest it. 0.39 meters left to go. With 33 seconds left in the time bank. Nisha, however, falls, so they are just swapping back and forth between these supports. The Primal is there. Gaga managing to pop it in time. Monk now returns, throws out that nano boost. It goes on to Jinmu as he looks for some targets. He looks for some kills. The cart still not yet moved in. It's closer and closer, but Gaga continues to contest this cart. And now Nisha has returned. The cap does come through. Just a very small margin there, a very slim amount of time that it actually could move on. It wasn't being contested.
Wow.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, Gaga stepped away for like millimeters, it felt. He actually saw that he went away. I thought he was still contesting. He probably thought he was still contesting. It was very close, but he did technically to step away, and that gave enough space just for the Philadelphia Fusion to push on through, but time is still a factor. There's 148 for Hunters. There was less than 130 for Fusion. Just beginning this point. Leave has Visor now. The rally's been popped. Chengdu want to fight here.
Yep, they're just right back over to the same comp that we saw on their attack. MN3, though, gotten himself into a nice position. Does find leave. Good headshot to try to open things up. The cart being contested. Nisha the shield bash to try to exit as Belosria goes into the back line with the Primal Rage. MN3 finds yet another kill. A headshot on a Jinmu. Takes out the Genji. It's going to further delay a Dragon Blade, which will take a considerable amount of time to build up. He may not have one unless this goes into a wild OT push. MN3, though, is not going to give him the opportunity. Gets yet another elimination. Instantly pops. That Visor now. Just go ahead for the infra site, rather. Looks for another target. They just continue to contest him at every twist and turn. Gaga trying to stay glued to this Widowmaker as best as he possibly can. He falls low, drops down to the cart, pops the bubble leaf. Under fire with attack Visor. The nade goes out from Monk. They manage to sustain him. Now he'll charge the corner. The Helix Rocket's going in. And every kill here for the side of the Chengdu Hunters is a step in the right direction. A massive step at that, as there's just 5 seconds remaining. Someone's got to contest. Swap over from Belosria over to the Doomfist. It's going to have to be Zest. He moves up. He gets the touch onto the cart. Instantly receives that anti-nade. Jinmu dives into the back. Gets the deflection onto MN3. The DPS is out of the equation. One of the supports joins them in the grave. Belosria, left to his own devices, will not be able to do anything whatsoever. The OT will bleed away. And they get damn close, but it's not close enough. Chengdu Hunters take this map, and now they move up to match point 2-0 with this win on Gibraltar.
And Philadelphia Fusion, I mean, a 6-0 start in their opening 2 matches. Now they're 5 maps down in their most recent 2 matches here. Jinmu coming out with some heroics towards the end on the Genji. I think he was a big factor in capping C as well, but at the end of the day, Gaga holding his ground. He might have died in that second to last fight, but still respawns before the OT hits, so isn't impacted by respawns taking longer in the OT. Has a Primal available. There is still a Nano from Monk as well. Monk, who, by the way, I think he got... Last I checked, and there was still at least 30 seconds remaining, he had 10 overall sleeps on that map, and more than half of them, I'd say 7 or 8 of them felt like they were on Belosria alone, and even Jinmu, when he duplicates Ana as well, he landed a couple of nasty sleeps onto Belosria, so Belosria got caught napping for most of that map, unfortunately, for the Fusion side of things, but Chengdu, 148 in the time bank. They forced the OT on B when they were defending, which means Fusion only had 130 to push through C anyway. They needed to basically had to have a flawless game. They couldn't do that on C, despite MN3 hitting so many shots on that C point. 3 DPS kills in a row. It wasn't enough.
No, it was not. Now Midtown It's all that stands between Chengdu Hunters and a 3-0 victory over the Philly Fusion. Fusion need to reverse sweep if they want to move up 3-1 rather than down to 2-2. Otherwise, looks like these two teams may be having the same overall scoreline at the end of this map. The Chengdu Hunters continue to pop off the way that they are right now. We'll see if the Fusion can get themselves together, but I think back to yesterday on this very map where they were completely held by the Dynasty. It was a very rough going for them. We'll see if they've improved it when we come back from the break. We are back. Chengdu Hunters continuing to assert dominance. We were talking about it at the beginning of Gibraltar. They have the match win record, over the Philly Fusion. Fusion have not been able to best them since week 2 of last year. It might not happen yet. They might have to wait and go again in a future stage, because right now It is looking like a 3-0 sweep is on the horizon here for the side of the Chengdu Hunters, who look very much reinvigorated after their last 2 match losses. Fusion looking like they may still be in that slight slump that we saw from them yesterday versus the Dynasty.
And we're back on the map. Yesterday, Fusion I'm talking about here, unfortunately lacked the most. They were completely exposed versus Seoul yesterday. The Smurf Prophet dived, dismantled them. Now we are playing against a different team here. We have Daisy coming in for Gaga, which means it's going to be Zarya time. They won't be diving into your backline with the Winston anymore. Believe could still play Tracer, but it's unlikely you see a Tracer played with a Zarya, so opportunity here for Fusion to maybe run back Midtown, but versus a different playstyle / composition. Fury coming in to play the Zarya as well, so here's a point of belief, here's some hopium for Fusion. Fury versus Daisy, veteran Zarya player versus rookie Zarya player. That could be a point of difference that Fusion can lean on, because right now, you need something. You need something in your books that you can say, we can win in this area, because if you don't have that, Fusion, it's not looking good for a comeback here. So, Midtown, opportunity to make the run back from yesterday and redeem themselves.
We'll see if they can do it. I mean, we do have MN3 sticking in for the Fusion as well. Carpe not going to be returning, so we'll see if MN3 just widely going to be sticking with snipers as well coming into Midtown. Because we were seeing a hell of a lot of, Tracer, Soldier 76 and whatnot on this map. We'll see what they have spruce up for us here as we get ready to go into it, but everything to play for now here for the side of the Fusion. Need to get this reverse sweep. Go ahead and rectify the mistakes from yesterday.
And we had Carpe on the Reaper yesterday for Fusion on this exact map. Fury also did play. It was Zarya versus Winston Smurfs. Winston specifically made plenty of comments about how Creative in particular really shut down Zest, did not allow him to play. Monk has been having a pretty good performance today on his own Ana. He had been mostly, I would say, putting pressure on the Balisria, but with Fury coming in now, it might just be different. Obviously, the entire sort of game plan and how you approach these two matchups, this matchup in particular, is going to be different to yesterday. Fusion starting out on the Ashe for the defense. So not a Soldier, to me, a little bit more volatile. Ashe has to be a confidence pick. This is one of those situations where Ashe might not be optimal, but even a slightly suboptimal pick can work for you if that specific player is having a great day, knows exactly what they're doing, and is playing with a lot of confidence and hitting those shots.
Well, here we go. The gates have opened. The Chengdu Hunters making their way over towards the point. First on the attack. Daisy looking really, really strong in that first map of Colosseo. We'll see if he can have another repeat performance like that, but already first blood is going to be drawn by the hands of Aim God, taking down Jinmu. Shots from him, finding that pick, alleviating pressure, and very much I think the big thing is just delaying that Dragon Blade as long as humanly possible.
Yeah, shades of Monk doing the same to Zest on our opening map, but this time with less stakes involved as Chengdu just get to kind of back out, Blade a little bit. It does cost them 40 or so seconds, which I think is decent as far as time goes. MN3 taking quite a few shots. You notice none of the Philadelphia Fusion actually playing out of the fire station on that left side from Leaf's POV, so Chengdu Hunters kind of know everybody in the Fusion is on the ground, so they're going to play a very ground-focused game.
Yep, just playing around the fire truck here.
They're flanking.
Dive into the back, Aim God going to be picked off. Got the Bionate out of the Nisha, but there's no one there to capitalize. Good sleep. No, I believe actually on a Monk. Zest, I believe, actually deflected that back onto him and then was able to find the elimination from there. A very solid little micro play from him, but they are giving up the point a bit. First tick going to be coming down as Aim God will be rejoining with the team here shortly. Jinmu now falling. Fury finds the opening to get right in on top of Leaf. The eliminations will continue to flow. Daisy just going to be stuck in the corner, gets killed. The reset goes in for his energy, and the Fusion will manage to stave off the Chengdu Hunters, at least for now.
I mean, that was probably Philadelphia, well, rather Hunters on borrowed time there, because they went for the ultra long flank right. They went towards the spawn of the Philadelphia Fusion. Cool, they caught Aim God. However, they lose Monk in the process. Their team is now split just like on Gibraltar A between spawn and a couple players playing all the way behind enemy lines. No way to successfully regroup, and well, Fusion just need to come back and actually win that fight. But they gave up a tick, which is not ideal for the Fusion, and ultimately Hunters can be happy with getting that tick.
Monk's nearly with the nano. Aim God has outpaced him toward it. I'll just have that ready to roll. Grabs darn close between both of these Zaryas as well. See who could just pull the trigger first. Zest, having done so much work, now has the blade up, dashes and instantly finds 3 kills. Make it a 4th. He's looking for the wipe, and he will have it. 1 blade pull, 1 team kill. Thank you very much, Mr. Fusion. That is what we want to see. Zest putting the team on his back in that moment.
from Ace. An ace for Zest, call that an A to Z play for Genji play on the Philadelphia Fusion there. Brilliant 5k to remove all the time and remove a lot of that opening pressure from the Chengdu Hunters. Okay, they still have a lot of ultimates, but pretty clean team-wide. Philadelphia Fusion now have to defend against a major gamut of ultimates, so they don't have the Nano Blade this time. They still have a Bob to buy time, Rally plus a grab as well. Dicey also has a grab. There's a lot more Hunters to play through, and this is going to be their final good attempt.
Where's the visor? The deflect comes out, but Zest, while he stays alive for a little bit longer there, does end up falling to it. Leaf just cutting around the corner, grabs that mini pack. Helix rocket straight into Aim God, tries to get the finisher. They play a little bit of ring around the Rosie, and Aim God will actually capitalize. That's both of the DPS dead on the side of the Chengdu Hunters.
That's
Granted,
huge.
they have that faster run back, but they might be able to recontest here. The second tick coming through. Aim God inching forward. They're thinking about it. He's going to start moving up. Oh, the sleep dart not going to connect. There was no bubble or anything, but Zest does dive in to continue the contest. Now backed up by Fixa. And MN3, they get themselves positioned forward. Jinmu dashing in, looking for the elimination. The blade now going to be pulled. Does find two. Seems like this should be the beginning of the end here on this point, as Aim God from beyond the grave will get that last little tap in to get the finishing blow. But overall, I think for Fusion, you're not too concerned about that. You managed to force the blade just to get the cap.
Yep.
And now it's only less than 3 minutes remaining for this push.
That's one of those things that happens when just because Aim God got a two-piece there, including a very nice kill to leave, and then sadly misses an easy sleep on a Dicey. That's how it is, right? You get those very difficult plays, but then sometimes you whip the easy ones. In any case, that forced out the extra blade because Chengdu didn't get a clean cap that allowed Fusion to walk back in because Aim God got picks, and then Chengdu had to spend extra to get that cap. So from an economical standpoint, Philly probably lose the point anyway, but they make it very expensive for the Hunters.
Nicely done. Could feel decent about that one at the very end. As MN3 now going into the street space has shifted back over to the Widowmaker. So this shows why we very much have him staying in over Carpe. See if he can continue to find some dominance that we did see from him near the end of that Watchpoint Gibraltar.
And the push is stalled out here.
Slow.
Quite significantly, as you said, slow right Hunters. They prioritize high ground. Now they're just going to go for the play. Fury grab onto just one, and Lee didn't even take damage off that. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, bubbles and everything used. No one really able to get on top of him. He does stay safe. Get the sleep as he gives a nice little wave to get the push back up the whip shot onto Dicey, sending him into no man's land. They get that finisher. Good pickoffs coming through here from the side of the Fusion, who can go ahead and leave this cart stuck in the underpass.
And Zest looking for the final bits of damage to get this next blade up as well. It's going to be a pretty unsupported blade with no nano available. Fury slipped. Is that an opportunity maybe for the Chengdu Hunters start walking on forward? Fury not in a very dangerous spot, still supported by team on this high ground. And it looks like Hunters, I mean, it's Zarya versus Zarya, right? So the only way they can fight for the high ground is to just kind of run Fury versus Dicey. They have to go head to head here, like two Ryans battling, but it's going to be the Zarya version.
Instant whip shot out, pushes Leaf back, tries to force him inside, deny those sight lines, so Attack Visor not going to find too much here. Does force a couple members of Fusion back away, so they are trying desperately to get this cart to finally exit out of the underpass, get it to the top of the ramp, and the rollback is coming through.
Here we go.
Waiting for it, Zest pulls the blade. Not going to happen, doesn't get caught, but Leaf finds one, and Zest says, yeah, I can't do much with this one. Everybody's just so split apart, we lose a member. Aim God out of the fight. Fury as well going to be dead. Seems like Chengdu should be able to keep the map going. As the cart is about to roll forward. They have it. There's the cap. MN3 only coming up with one. As they chase forward looking for the Widowmaker. And they will get him. Now it's for the final stretch. Only a minute and a half though. For the side of the Chengdu Hunters can very much get slowed down and have that clock drained.
I mean, this is a decent amount of distance though, right? I think probably not expecting them to finish the map anymore, but any sort of distance through C is going to be good. Have to really credit the play from Dicey. I thought he was going to go for a solo grab into Fury. Fusion probably thought it was going to be a solo grab into Fury. He runs past, grabs Aim God, Leaf gets the kill on Aim God, and then they have a support advantage. Not even the sound barrier ended up saving people in Fusion, which is wild. And Zest couldn't find those kills via the blade. He's getting them now, just in the neutral.
Well, the support's dead. God does get traded, but Fix is still here for the side of the Fusion. Dicey, it's like right-click kill coming through onto himself as Jinmu does get on top of him in 3. Good elimination, but widely the fight is won here by Fusion. And they will be able to control this cart for now. 40 seconds remaining for Chengdu.
Yeah, not ideal for the rest of the Hunter squad there. You know, kind of, they did get staggered quite significantly. Leave even staggering himself by trying to sprint away. Shouldn't be doing that. But all 5 alive now. Last 30 seconds. Goal for Hunters here is just to make it around the next corner. If they can get one fight win here, and, you know, get another, I would say, 15-ish meters to 20 meters on board, they'd be pretty happy with that.
Keeping Jinmu topped up. Nano Blade very much going to be the play here. Fury trying to get the grab online. Jinmu pops the blade and they can isolate him. That's massive, but there goes the Nano. Great shot from MN3. Gets the elimination. Nisha as well under fire. MN3 finds that kill as well. And God continues to be bloodthirsty, and everybody is zoned back away from the cart. And that's where it will finish. 63 meters on the final stretch. Fusion certainly still do have their work cut out for them, given that we didn't get to see them cap A yesterday. But this is a much better look. The team playing together a lot more so than we were seeing on the first 2 maps.
Yeah, it's a 24-meter gain from where they were stuck at for actually losing a fight. So Chengdu Hunters do okay in that regard, just to squeeze a bit more out. We won't expect them to get too much further, although we'll never really know, because when you look back at it, they did have Nanoblade. A lot could have happened with the Nanoblade. Have to look back at MN3. Really huge shots to get those kills, importantly onto Monk, right, who, like we sort of sitting there, the Nano so required in that fight, and everyone just falling to MN3, who had the angles to work through. Fusion, look at the defense they were looking for without having to really struggle for it. As get the replay here just to see how MN3 did. He was actually on the back angle. My goodness, This is a Pine level play. This is a Pine on Junkertown level of just like, let me just go all the way into the back line, fellas, and get these kills.
Yeah, I initially assumed that he was, up on that high ground, right, dead in front of them.
Yeah.
Saw Jinmu contesting up top, but he was actually tussling around a little bit with zest in that moment. Now, with 10 seconds for the doors to open, looks like MN3 might be coming out the gates yet again with the Ash. See if he can have similar impact here on this attack, but massive flank from him. Utterly incredible positioning there.
He would have had to have gone through the top, so, because the way you get there via a flank is that you have to have access to high ground. They kind of walk down the stairs on that right side from attacker's POV, so very sneaky play from MN3 to get there unspotted completely. That's one of those tactical shooter type plays you completely into the back lines that completely destroys you. So now Fusion looking for it, as I'm sure both of us are very aware of that. MN3 now, he'll be looking for some, what is this, attacking Ash, so it's not going to be quite the Widow. To be fair, Widow sightlines on A, probably not as good. Good sleep.
Good sleep, looking for the finish. Monk playing with fire still, and Zest will just dash through, up over top of the train car. Keeps himself alive. A little bit of healing coming through. The deflection going to be popped. Just duking out, looking for leave now. Dashes in, right click just needs to connect, but he grabs the health pack, keeps himself in the fray. Zest, though, still being topped up.
Zest is caught.
Back in. Zest is just really playing on a high wire right now. Does manage to not lose his footing. He can't come up with too much else. Keeping pace, though, with Jinmu for the blade.
Dash coming online, deflect, like you said, to save him. Looking pretty dire, though. Hunters were all around surrounding, but Prey escapes this time. Chengdu Hunters, they still are working on ultimates. Vice is very close now, and we're in a sort of position where, despite the Nano being there for Fusion, when Leave gets this, I mean, the next time Fusion want to really walk forward, Leave can do quite a decent amount of just a solo Vice, and he's going to have to pop it very soon. As soon as he's got it, he has to use it now.
That he is. No, Nisha gone. There's the opener that they're looking for. Start making their way over towards the point, try to get this ticked up. Jinmu on the high ground, the dash in from Zest. He's looking for the finish, forces him back over to the point. Heels coming
They're waiting
through.
for Nano,
Jinmu
I think.
Sustained, yeah. Looking for it. It's going to be Blade v Blade. Draws it out, looking for Monk to deflect pop first. Gets one swipe, but train on the Ana so far. Jinmu managed to find Aim God as well. The Nano, however, is onto Jinmu. He's able to follow up for a second kill. This time, Fury falling. Zest stuck in an awkward spot. Jinmu just slicing and dicing, dashing his way to success. Comes up with those kills. That is more than half the time bank drained away from the Fusion. They haven't gotten a tick yet.
I mean, that's the sort of situation where Fusion go up 5v4, they start pushing on in. Hunters can either hold their ground via the visor, but they choose to just back out. I was going to say all back out, but they usually when you back out, you're going to lose ticks for it. You're going to lose a lot of, objective control for that. They actually don't lose that much. They kind of back out. The Fusion are very cautious about moving forward. Monk comes back in. I mean, well, sorry, whoever died just comes back in. And at that stage, Chengdu Hunters, their back is 5. They even have time to build a nano. And they get to nano the place. So when Zest pulls blade, so does Jinmu.
Double dinks here for MN3, but unable to find the eliminations to really open the point. He's looking for Nisha yet again. Just stay tucked away underneath the staircase. Bob going to be sent out, looking to apply some pressure, but the sleep, of course, is there from Monk. Has that ready to go. He takes him out of the equation rather quickly. Monk a little bit under fire. Has to throw down that Bionade for himself. And I was saying the Bob was out of the equation, but he woke back up and he manages to find Daisy. MN3 getting this kill on the leave has finally broken open the point. The Fusion will get this cap. Not going to be full held. Can start moving the cart, but with limited time. Just 3 minutes for them now to get this thing going.
Yeah, the Bob will outlast the sleep, so you have to still kind of deal with it in some ways, even when the sleep is over. Zest getting the kills, Bob contributing, and the Philadelphia Fusion walking up with a solo grab onto the leave. It's enough. It stops the Visor from really getting any major effect. Grab time will now be in the hands of Daisy. He's gone for that one.
He just lobs it in there, finds Fury. Focus fire is good. They get the kill. Aim God taken down at the back end, and this will just be the cleanup now, as they will get a team kill. One ult used. One team fight one. Not bad there for the side of the Chengdu Hunters. It's the kind of economic swing you want to have.
So this is the really contentious area now. If Hunters are going to win this map in any fashion, has to happen on B. What they need to do is be able to bleed down this timer exactly, well, ideally to OT, so that when Fusion, if they do cap B, are in the same 130 position as the Hunters were going on to C. Anything more than that, it's going to be rough.
Well, there's the Nano Blade yet again, and Jinmu is continuing to find an immense amount of value. Cleaning him up now, looks for Zest, can't get him. Will be the last one left standing as he slinks his way back into the spawn room. Nice cleanup there off the coupled ultimates, and now Nisha still holds on to the sound barrier, ready to try to counteract Zest's own Nano Blade, which is going to be coming up here rather shortly.
It's a minute gone now, so another one of those fights, and Hunters will be in a very good position, but now they are disadvantaged in ults. As you've said, Blade for Zest, Nano Blade specifically. Fusion should be able to get a decent amount. Now, Fusion probably have to win 2-ish to 3 fights to actually get a cap here with MN3 dead. Fusion resets, so now they're seriously running out of time because the payload distance is not good for Fusion at all.
Yeah, it's not even in the underpass yet, which is going to be one of the most critical spots to try to move it through. But Jinmu, I mean, good lord. They just dropped the sound barrier. They say, yeah, Nano Blade be damned. The Nano does get used, but Zest is not going to pull it. He sees that this is already over, holds on to it, but Jinmu, just with the natural kit of the Genji, absolutely destroys the Fusion.
My goodness, I sent out a tweet yesterday saying, here are the 4 best Genjis in APAC. It didn't have Jinmu in it, and Jinmu's just, hold my sword for just a moment here, fellas. Let me break on into that club. As he's performing super well today, in some cases, even outplaying Zest in a lot of cases here as well. Philadelphia Fusion, nearly into final fight here, another solo grab and Fury, and he's dead. The Bionade combination so deadly.
Yeah, just, I don't know. Bubbles maybe on CD, wasn't able to pop that to keep himself safe. Now Zest going to be taken down by Nisha. Leaf has continued to just flank. He's just playing over by the train car. It does finally fall to MN3, who quickly then is cleaned up, and with only 20 seconds remaining, Chengdu Hunters, you take this every day of the week.
What is that?
Grab going out. What? Oh my gosh, okay. Fury finding absolutely nothing with the grab. Sure, he's got a hell of a lot of energy. He would have killed somebody had he gotten the catch, but it completely whiffs. Fusion, if they can make an overtime push happen off the back of this, it will be a miracle. Sleep there on Daisy for just a moment, but does get woken up. The cart now moving. Chengdu Hunters, they give space over. They say, it's okay. We have a massive advantage. Don't overextend, just pull back. They recollect.
Oh my god, they were touching spawn, and then Fusion had to use ultimates to get out of spawn. Now we're looking for the blade from Zest, but he's just been buffeted away. He's only got 1 kill.
Gets Monk, still going to be a high-value target, but at the same time, Daisy managed to get Fixa. The Bob is out, it's chipping away at Nisha, takes him down to about half HP. The cart's still rolling through the underpass, but now Leaf, set here on the high ground, plops down a heel, drops, goes aggro. Fury will finish him off with the beam, manages to stay alive. The cart continuing to move forward. Fusion might be able to make this happen. Jinmu now going to be picked off. The staggers are massive. Daisy disconnected. Fixa managing to find Nisha. They may actually manage to get this push through to the end. 3.5 meters left to go. They try to push Daisy away. They will just focus fire him down. Monk eliminated, and somehow, some way, the Fusion find the miracle. 1.5 minutes added to the time bank.
That looked over. That looked over. Fixer
It
got a
should
couple
have been.
kills. I don't understand. Fusion, they clutch it through. They've clutched it through, but it is only an opportunity. They still have to push through C on the same 130 that Hunters had on their attack. So I guess technically speaking for Hunters, objective, tick that one off the list. They needed to drag it into OT, they did. It's not over for either team though. Fusion can absolutely finish this one. Zest dying here, it's a slowdown. There's still going to be further push attempts, but this does give Hunters the ability to charge ultimates.
Leaf just waiting, looking for a target. Already solid opening kill. Fury nearly with another grab. We go again. We'll see if he can nail somebody this time around. Good opening kill, though, as Jinmu will fall. The grab goes out, and this time, yes, they will find Daisy. MN3 aggressively peeks, gets the headshot elimination, but Leaf ends up trading that one right back. However, he's revealed his position, and everybody piles in. They get that kill. 24 seconds remaining. The box is right here. Somebody's going to touch it. Anybody touches it all, it's going to have to be Jinmu. He's going to have to dash in. He barely manages to make it in time. 0.93 meters left to go. And oh, they pull off of it for just a moment. They have a massive grab. They catch all of them, but it doesn't matter.
God.
It doesn't matter at all. The Fusion. They will glide through. You can see, Fury just like, yeah, I can't believe it. Zest is trying to clap. He's trying to rally them back. But what in the ever-loving hell happened on this map, Avril? This was so
none of it makes sense.
Yeah.
None of it makes sense. Okay, what?
Okay.
I mean, that's, by the way, this is one of those maps that Fusion winning, you can't even feel good about. You're just like, oh, well, I guess Hunters didn't touch the payload, and I don't know. It feels, it's like, I don't want to take away the win, but it's like, it's such an empty win in some ways, because what the hell, Hunters? Like, Jinmu touches, and then their whole team is there. It's like 5 people looking at the payload, each of them less than a meter away. I think I was looking at Nisha, I was like, surely Nisha's actually on there. They grab the whole thing and they're just not on it. What is going on?
We woo. This is the Cloud9 Police. This is the C9 Police. We're here to respond to a report.
That's a legitimate C9.
Unbelievable.
All-American beef. GMO-free. Farm-to-table C9, that one.
Yeah. Okay.
FDA approved.
I know that the players need a moment to recover from that one. We certainly do as well. So we're going to take a quick little break, and we'll see if these teams can get their stuff together for the next map. Fusion trying to get the reverse sweep. Lijang Tower is what they need to win to take us to a 5th and final. We'll see if they can do it when we return. I'll come back. I still haven't really recovered fully from the things that we just witnessed, but it's okay. Fusion win the map. I almost used air quotes on that one. And they keep themselves alive in this
Technically
series.
win the map.
Yeah, they technically win the map, whether it was a gift, whether that, you know, I don't know. I'm not going to speculate it on it any further. We're just going to move on with our lives. Lijang Tower is coming up now. All I know is the Spaghetti Bowl is dead. The rivalry between Fusion and the Seoul Dynasty, it's done. No more Spaghetti Bowl. This is the Orange Chicken Bowl. This is what I'm looking forward to every single time these two teams clash.
Yeah.
Fusion are looking for a reverse sweep. They are coming into Lijang Tower with a couple substitutions. We see that Belosria is coming back in, likely to play the Winston and whatever else they may need. If we go Command Center, maybe there's some Reinhardt play, and then Carpe as well, stepping back in for MN3. On the opposite side of things, Chengdu Hunters just flipping Gaga, flipping Daisy.
Okay, to be fair, the Seoul Fusion rivalry is still very much alive because they're like still two teams that have entertaining games, 6-4 over record. But I don't think that's the game where the spaghetti gets dropped the most anymore. Right now, like you said,
yes,
this is the official name of this rivalry now. I don't want to hear any of this noodle crap people are saying. It's the Orange Chicken Bowl. It's the two orange teams. The orange teams.
Yep.
With that damn orange chicken, that damn tasty orange chicken, Achilles, that you're about to get straight after this game.
I would love to have some right now, actually.
That last map is the flagship game of the entire rivalry. Was that Midtown? Right? If anyone wants to know, what's the origin of the Orange Chicken Bowl? That Midtown is the origin of that rivalry. Oh my goodness.
That's where it all began.
It certainly is. And you were here. Where were you when we created a new rivalry? Carpe is certainly going to be here because he's been subbed in for, just to talk over the substitutions a little bit, you kind of touched up on some of them. Carpe usually does come in for both control and push game modes. There's not going to be Zarya played here, but Belosria. So usually what happens if you play main tank instead of an off tank on this map is you have the opportunity to go Ryan on the control center, but otherwise you'll be playing the Winston. At the same time, because Gaga's also coming on in as a main tank player, Fusion and Hunters can sort of handshake this one and say, maybe we could just both play the Winston on control center, maybe we'll both play Ryan. That'll be interesting. Hunters on a Ryan. Haven't seen that one in a hot minute, or maybe at all. Since Among was last year, maybe.
Yeah. It's been a good long while. Out the gates, though, see Jinmu going to be taking back to the skies with the Echo. Leave, of course, on the Soldier 76. Zest moves back over to the Tracer. Belosria, a bit of an awkward spot there. Clipped on the corner for just a moment, but not going to be able to get the punish. Jinmu would have had to have flown down to try to beam him to death. Does not do so. Carpe just playing out around that coastal side, trying to get some shots in, get that Echo down onto the floor. Point is now unlocked as the contest comes through. Belosria playing forward. Carpe looking for a target. Widely, the Chengdu Hunters pull back away from the point. Zest, of all people, will actually find the opening kill. Jinmu taken down. Now the dive goes in. Zest as well. Making his way forward here alongside the Winston. And they will just go ahead and concede this point flip. And Jinmu says, you know what? I'm just going to play Reaper.
Yeah, Hunters back out entirely. I mean, Reaper makes sense, and this is where Hunters are going to be sneaky because Gaga also plays Zarya, Belosria does not. And Chengdu say, yeah, okay, we'll play Zarya Reaper. What are you going to do about this one? This is going to pair quite well for Hunters to walk on up. Zest is going to have probably a little bit harder of a time now getting select targets because of the bubbles being available.
With the Helix Rocket's not going to connect, so he cannot get that elimination onto Carpe. Anti goes out onto Carpe all the same, though. He's still under fire. Belosria, in the meantime, is the target. Gaga finds that elimination with two members gone on the side of the Fusion. Seems like the flip will be coming in. A third joins them as Zest goes down. 33% picked up here as the Chengdu Hunters gain control.
And the thing about actually losing the first skirmish for Hunters when Jinmu went down is that Monk has more to heal because his team took more damage. He was ahead in Nano Charge. Aim God is caught up now. Carpe on the flank as well, looking like a flanking Nano Visor. Hunters will pull back towards point and maybe force a front-to-back fight. Minus Zest, who will also still be on the flank.
There's a stick, huge dive in, but bubbles come through. Gaga able to keep them alive. Good reaction time there from him, putting them in the fight. Thrown forward, Belosria taking down Carpe, receiving the Nano Visor. Leave trying to match so far. They each get one apiece. Leave doubles down though for another. Getting fix up, as well as the counterpart Soldier 76. The fight quite handily being won here by the side of the Chengdu Hunters. Fusion gonna have to reset go again. Chengdu Hunters in the meantime getting ready to surpass 50%.
And Zest going to Genji now. Yeah, that's a good read because, again, it's Zarya versus Tracer. Tracer, you're just not really going to get pulse bombs at all. So hard. Double bubbles. What are you going to do against it? It's a very tough matchup for the Tracer to play in. So now Fusion are going to reset that entirely. They have some time to play with, but Zest will have to really expedite how fast he can get this Genji Dragon Blade up. Certainly the Nano's still waiting as well as Gaga's looking towards that grab now.
Well, that's a good opening pick. Carpe finding leave. Jinmu now trying to shove them back. Grav goes in, gets a catch onto a couple. Zest going to end up falling. Sound barrier up now for Fixa. See if he can hold it for a little bit longer. Actually, it's going to be that layered in with the Primal Rage. Bellisria going absolutely massive. Looking for the hit there onto Monk. Got him into the corner for just a moment, but he's able to break free. Stays alive for quite a while, but Carpe eventually gets the kill. But here's the turnaround from the Hunters. Jinmu pops the Death Blossom, cleans up 2. And now at 97%, I don't know if anybody can even touch this point. It may just go the way of Hunters, and it does. So 100-33, Chengdu starting things off very nicely.
And you actually see that insane zoning from Jinmu a little bit earlier as well. He was on, I believe, 70% ult charge. But the thing is, Fusion don't know it. They think he's got the Blossom. So Jinmu walks on forward. Gaga drops in this grab, which Jinmu just blocks because Jinmu zones the entire Fusion away from being able to save Bellisria. Everyone thinks he's got the Death Blossom. He doesn't. He just walks up. And so Hunters off of that, leave then getting a bunch of kills. Jinmu then actually having the Death Blossom, clean it up at the end. We'll see that once again at this last play as well. Shift forward, press Q, everyone dies. Standard stuff. If you do that at 90%, yeah, like you said, no one can touch.
Leave. Okay. A little bit of Cassidy action as we move into command center. Replay. All right.
What is this? Is like old school Brawl here. They're just missing the ride. You know, they got all the different good pieces of Brawl, they just don't have the ride.
It's the one thing that they are missing. Bellisria now trying his hands at the Doom Fist as well. See if they can pilot that to success. Zest going to be taken down low. Anti still out into him. Looks like he will manage to stay alive here, as does Carpe. Bellisria, though, knocked to the ground by a sleep dart. Gaga is in position to capitalize, gets the kill. Deflect back onto the nade. Says, yep, this is the new Cassidy. You can't stun me anymore. Does end up dying to Gaga, but Carpe will find Monk, so it's going to be a 2-for-1. There's the point nearly taken here from the side of the Chengdu Hunters. Gaga trying to continue to play forward, trying to keep it contested. Falls low, has to pop the shield, but Fixa actually will get the finishing blow there. And with their main tank gone, well, their tank gone, I should say, that will just be the cap coming in for the Fusion. So yet again, establishing control first.
This is actually a game, I was going to say, I would like to see Jinmu go to the Sombra and then leave go towards the Reaper here. Because that way you really shut down Bellisria. He could probably then just swap to Winston, but at least you want to bully Bellisria, you want to bully Zest a little bit. This is one of the few times, I'm like probably the biggest critic of Sombra, but this is probably the one matchup where I think Sombra is valid.
I was going to say, you calling for a Sombra, what reality have I shifted into? They do get the kill instantly.
2021.
Picking that one up, yeah. Already a solid start there as they look for the flip back. Fusion holding it for a little bit longer. As they pull away from the point for the time being. Zest is going to be anti and has to make his exit. Attack visor going to be popped. Carpe looking for a target. Zest, the recipient of the nano. Not really in a position to get too much done, though. Allows him to get a little bit of extra percentage, I suppose, over towards the blade, which is just 6% off now.
They got a nano and use these ultimates here. I mean, they got a sound barrier as well. Ideally, you save that one for the Zest blade, which he's not going to pop anymore because the rest of his team is dead. The Zest was also bionated. Will be a huge cleanup for the Chengdu Hunters. And very cheap as well. They only spent a nano for a full team wipe or just thereabouts. They finally stopped the cap progression from the Fusion, and they still save ultimates to counter this blade, which is going to be huge for Fusion, or it should be huge for Fusion. The Hunters have multiple ways to stop that now.
That they do. 3 ults ready to rock. Jinmu's still going to be trying to build up towards the EMP. Just, again, finds Bellisria, puts a hack onto him, just trying to make his time absolutely miserable. And so far, from what we've seen, I think it's been a relative success. 30% now as he dives in, gets anti and immediately has to exit with a Meteor Strike, and given his HP, can't use it super aggressively. Drops down right in front of Leave. Just get punched in the wall for just a moment. Bellisria will find that kill. Good little combo play coming through as now they try to get the setup here onto Gaga after the sleep dart goes in, but Zest trying to get in a position. Gets sniped down by Monk. They take him out of the fight. It's one of the DPS eliminated. Bellisria again going to be hacked, but Fusion are looking for the flip, and they will have it, so they will quickly take back control.
That was super well played by Ria. I mean, he baits some utility out, then used the meteor strike to get away as that extra escape utility right comes back in with a power block, instantly gets that charged up because Hunters are shooting him, and then with that empowered punch, kills Leave using a combo. That's massive. Gaga as well isolated in that play. Brilliant stuff. Hack on his ass, but he can still go for the Nano Blade.
Yeah, trying to get that Deadeye through, doesn't find too much for it. Nano Blade now out on Necessity, they're just layering everything into this to make sure that he does not die during this blade. The cleanup will come through, but that's Nano, Sound Barrier, and Blade all at once. Fusion,
Now,
though,
not that EMP is particularly threatening, but there is going to be a lack of the sound barrier from Fixer now to safely counter it. So there should be an EMP engage. Leave knows it's probably last spikes. He's going to go towards the Tracer, which is a very good play up against Ria anyway. I'm glad that he's actually off the Cassidy. Not a great pick anyway. So here we go. Where's this EMP going to come through from? Jimu's already revealed.
It's the hack. Ria taking low. The EMP strikes, manages to find 4, but Leave going to be the first one to go down. Now the Attack Visor gets popped by Carpe off the back of that, but the Sleep Dart connects from Monk. They shut him down for a little bit longer. Monk, in the meantime, trying to build up, nearly has that Nano online. 10% or so away. Building up for it rapidly and desperately. Needs that online if they want to win out this fight. Gets it, throws it onto Gaga to try to keep him in the fight. Sleep connects, however, onto the enemy Zarya, and that's them off the point. Forced errors here from the side of the Philly Fusion. Good sleep from Aim God means that the tank cannot contest, and they will take this to a third and final round. Gardens will decide this map, and will decide if Fusion get one step closer to reverse sweeping.
I can see that Chengdu Hunters were looking for Gaga to touch there, but he got slept, so then the responsibility goes towards Nisha. Not too sure where he was standing, but likely too far away, so well played by the Philadelphia Fusion. A far too late swap onto the Tracers from Leave. That probably should have come in much sooner. I was expecting either a Reaper or a Tracer. Reaper works pretty well, Tracer works just as well, but staying on the Cassidy, I don't think was a good play for Leave at all. It's just not a high enough output hero on that particular map. Jimu also starting out with Mei. Again, I've got problems with Mei on this particular meta as well. Unless you're playing hard, Ryan Brawl, your backbone, backing up Hardy, that's a different story. But yeah, Reaper Zarya, no, I'm good. Keep that at home.
All right, Tracer Soldier into the Genji Soldier here on the side of the Chengdu Hunters. Jinwoo already striking first. The Genji has been rather clean from him today, and oh boy, everybody just caught out on the walkway alongside the court bond. They get melted down. Gaga as well, saying, you know what, I can play a pretty good Doomfist. Comes up with 2 kills at the back end, and the first cap will come in here for the Chengdu Hunters.
We saw that Gaga Doomfist coming out yesterday, I believe, so. And it looked good. It was one of his heroes that he got a lot of value on, even without a ton of support. So Hunters really shown their capabilities of turning the speed up to 11, which is kind of what you need to do with the Doomfist. You can't really pot and pro as you would with a Winston. You kind of just have to go in. So in a way, we're swapping a little bit here as Ria is going to be the one on the Winston instead.
Trying to play out through White. Anti goes out, catches 3. Gaga, Nisha, and Jinmu all in danger, but successfully do pull back, but they're waiting for the healing output to come in. Nisha finds Fixes, sends him off the side of the map, but Carpe gets that punish at the same time. So an exchange on the Lucios. Aim God still here trying to keep everybody topped up. Zest looking it out, trying to take Leave a little bit lower here. Looks Rockets narrowly not connecting as Nana will be used. Powering Ria. Playing forward here onto the point. Gaga already going to be taken down, but here comes the Attack Visor from Leave. He's charging in, manages to find 2, knows where the Tracer's at, pushes the corner, and Monk has got the anti-nade layered in on top of it for the alley-oop. That is a team wipe. And that was looking like a one fight for the Fusion, but Leave just turns it on its head.
Yeah, I mean, Hunters hold on to there. They got triple bio-nated, but they stabilize. They don't give up the cap, so this is still momentum for Hunters. They're on match point, by the way, and they're leading currently on the final round of Lijang. I mean, if they win this, it's over. Fusion, they're out of here. They don't win this matchup, so desperation now. Fusion need to bring it back together. They don't have the Nano going for them. Waiting for their Visor to have a Primal to play through, and currently lacking by nearly 80% on the cap.
Zest into the back lines, looking for Monk. He's looking to maybe force a Sleep Dart his way. Pulse Bomb is available. Blade gonna be pulled. Jinmu already, it's massive. He comes up with 2. He gets a 3rd that supports out of the fight, as well as Carpe, who nearly had that Attack Visor available. Zest is the only one left alive. He is so far away from the point they are zoning him out, and somebody needs to touch, but I don't know if anybody can. Ria has not respawned yet. He's got the Primal. No one can get there. Fixa is just a second too late. And while the hope was there for a while, it does not come to fruition. The reverse sweep cannot happen. We will not see the 5th map. We will not see Fusion take control of this point here on Gardens. They unfortunately just get swept under the rug by Leave, by Jinmu in these fights. Huge impact from them, just making sure that the Fusion don't get an opportunity to continue the comeback. They shut them down, and they take this series.
A second too late and a bridge too far, I'm afraid. I mean, we've seen plenty now between both Hunters, especially Hunters, and also the Philadelphia Fusion where, final moments, difficult to touch. I would hazard to think that they would have been able to really get too much done further than that. I mean, maybe because Bellastri is still at a primal, there was room to maybe get it down in the way, but really for me, it was done and dusted when that comeback happened from Leave after they got triple bionated, they were all purpled, looking bad for the Hunters, and they still pulled it through. And the other person you really have to give credit for here, despite having some shaky Echo performances today, Jinmu's Genji was so damn clean, and deservedly, he's going to be the player of the match. His second player of the match this season, by the way. So Jinmu really showing his chops. I mean, he goes from kind of like hot performances to kind of cold performances, but today, my man was boiling that jug.
Yeah, he was really, really huge with the Genji. Like you said, missed me with the Echo plays from time to time, but this was just an immense amount of impact. And sometimes it was with the Dragon Blade, sometimes it was when he just didn't even have one. Maybe he didn't have an Nano Boost. He just went through and sliced and diced his way to victory, as we're seeing right here in that replay. Just incredible performance from him. Finds value as well on this Reaper here in the last map of Lijang Tower. Overall, Jinmu just had an absolutely wonderful performance today, and that's what we have been lacking a little bit here from the side of the Chengdu Hunters. Not to put the blame all on him, obviously. It's kind of been a shared slump, I would say. But there has been a little bit more inconsistency from Jinmu, and today he absolutely shined.
And I think, when you look at Hunter's losing moments, I'm not talking about today, but more so, in previous matches where the Hunters have struggled. I think the hero pool situation for the Hunters have definitely made things difficult for them to operate. But today, when things click and everyone's playing heroes they're good at, for the most part, I mean, I kind of want to forget about Control Center a little bit here, but when you look at more so Gardens, Leaves back on the Soldier, Genji is being played by Jinmu again, you look at Midtown, despite the floundering that happened by Chengdu at the end of Midtown, it was pretty good, mostly from the Jinmu POV for the majority of that map. So when he played well, he really played well in a way that made him look, I think, even better than Zest today. And Zest for some time has been kind of looking for that title of best flex DPS / Genji in all of APAC. Certainly in the first week, I think he would have held that. But now, players like Alpha Yi are taking over, and Jinmu today as well, looking so damn good.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Alpha Yi in the mix. Of course, Prophet is still hovering around there as well. So there's a lot of people to try to contest against. Who Are You is also there from time to time, at least for the side of the Shanghai Dragons. But yeah, I mean, Jinmu really leveling up today and really at times putting the team on his back was gorgeous to see. Leave as well. Got to give him his shout-outs. Just that bringing that fight back from the brink with that tack visor at the very end on Gardens was absolutely immaculate from him. But that's our first match done and dusted. Myself and Avril will come back in a few minutes. We'll talk a little bit more about this 3-1 and maybe what it means for Chengdu Hunters as well as Fusion in the future moving forward. What with the kickoff clash on the horizon. We'll be back in just a bit for that, so you guys don't go anywhere. Don't you dare.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Upper Deck, the official trading card of the Overwatch League. And by TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League.